Okay, let's talk timelessness. We talked about this a little bit. Yeah, timelessness. Talked about this a little bit at the last, I guess, the last audiocast, podcast, whatever you want to call this, that we had. What does that mean? What does timelessness mean? And golly, who was that?
Well, I wear a watch all the time, so I don't know what timelessness means.
Oh God.
All right. Well,
you wear goofy all the time too.
You know, so I'll say this. Okay. Give me like one or two artists who you think are timeless.
Good question.
Jackson pops into my mind.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Have either of you guys would any of you guys think like of a one-hit wonder?
Say again?
Would any of you guys name like a one-hit wonder as being timeless?
I think I would.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I would too. I think a lot of people, when they think like timeless songs or timeless artists or timeless art in general, they think people who have like kind of like traversed a large period of time. Like say, you know, Michael Jackson has been doing this for decades, right?
Right.
But, you know, maybe you just have your 15 minutes and that makes you timeless.
Depending on what the song is and depending on who it relates to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why that's not a like. I feel like we're always gonna remember Ghostbusters, the song.
For sure, right?
There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
And nobody knows who sang that.
I do, Ray Parker Jr. Right, but he don't got no other songs. Like, I mean, to my knowledge, I mean, so he's written songs, but he don't have, you know, like you ain't like you said. Most people don't know who Ray Parker Jr. is. Is that like is that a good service? Does that get you where you want to go? Like. I mean, like as a musician,
like,
go ahead.
I don't know, but to me, it's like, do you have control over whether your song is gonna be a hit or or like a timeless classic or not? You know, or like something that someone listens to and just forgets a few months from now or a year.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very interesting because, of course, everyone, if they could choose, would want their songs to be a timeless classic where people can listen to it, jam out to it, and 50, 30 years from now, it's still like, you know, people remember it fondly and it's still played in certain places. But like, I think, you know, a lot of it, the artist disseminates out there hoping for it to be that way, but then it just, the reception and the reaction is, you can't really control fully.
I agree. Yeah. Sometimes it's just not even up to you. Or not even sometimes, it's 100% not even up to you.
It's never up to you.
It's never up to you.
Right, which goes back to the idea of being the tool as opposed to being, you know, like the person who actually does the whatever it is, you know. You just kind of being the tool. And then also, I mean, imagine it could not hit now and then hit 20 years from now, which is the definition of timelessness.
I'm trying to think of, definitely. I'm just trying to think of an example of that.
There's a movie called something to the effect of like Searching for Sugar Man. Right? And it's this guy, I believe, I know I'm gonna get this story wrong, but so it's a documentary on this guy called Sugar Man or whatever, right? And this guy basically he wrote some songs a long time ago, created some songs, and they just didn't hit when he was out. And then somehow they found, and he's like, I think he's like some kind of South American or something. I think might have been Brazilian or something like that. And his songs make their way all the way to like South Africa or something like that. And they hit there in a whole different time period. I think he's gone, like dead by the time
they
they
That's
even
incredible.
hit, right?
Yeah.
But they become hits. like out of nowhere, and like, you know, it's a whole bunch of people learning about this guy, and you know, and trying to figure out, you know, who this guy is, only to find out that he's not even like connected to them in any way, shape, or form.
You know, that brings me a lot of peace, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that after we're gone, our music just ends up like influencing someone in, I don't know, South America. And we don't even know it.
That's crazy, isn't it? Like, remember when we played what song it was? Was it Cold or Bombshell? That Muhammad Diabate.
Yeah, it was Cold.
It was just Cold, right? We were talking about how there was being played in radio stations in the Ivory Coast.
Yeah,
and I was
crazy,
like,
man.
oh, like that's crazy, you know? It was a hella dope feeling.
Yeah, it was a unique feeling because it's outside of the scope of what we're the industrial version of what we're expected to do as artists and expected to accept as artists. So it was definitely unique for me because I wasn't used to the idea that you could impact. I mean, like you're used to the idea that you can impact that far, but it's a controlled impact. Like, you know what I mean? When I say controlled impact, as opposed to like you didn't create this, you know, you didn't have this option, right? You know what I mean? Like you didn't make it happen yourself. You weren't in Africa, you weren't in Ivory Coast to make it happen. We had the same thing with Bombshell. Remember, like I got a voicemail or something like that, and it was
a school teacher, right?
Yeah, right. It was a school teacher who given me a voicemail in, I think, like upstate New York or like New Jersey or something like that, and it was little girls screaming out, "Bombshell, we want you on the radio!" And they was like third graders, like, and she was saying how essentially how right, they had broken down. It was like after school class or something like that. They had broken down Bombshell and what it had meant to be a bombshell. And the girls was coming to school wanting to be bombshells. And I was like, what? Like, what?
Did you originally intend for this song to empower third grade elementary school students?
Not in the least. Not in the least. Like it wasn't even a consideration. You know, it wasn't something I thought was possible or necessary or, you know, nothing like that. I mean, you try to, when you write, you try to give it as broad a scope as possible, but nah, not at all. I would have never thought that anybody would be, and to the point that where like kids are dressing up for school. No, I would have never thought that. No. I mean, imagine you permeate in a way that in the same way that the radio does. Right? You don't have the kind of backing power. You don't have the kind of financial power. You don't have the kind of industry power.
Yeah. And
you still permeate somehow, you know, in those kind of situations. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep. I never expected to go that far. What did you guys expect when you know, what do you guys expect? What are your expectations for these songs, if you have any expectations?
I would like to think that everything we write is a timeless classic. You know what I mean? Like, you know, here's what I wonder. Like, when John Lennon is like sitting down to write, does he just like know this is gonna be a hit? You know what I mean? Like, no, seriously, like, do people like write music with the intention of this being an absolute classic, something that's gonna stand the test of time? I don't think we do. We definitely don't.
Yeah, I mean,
at least not that I.
Yeah, because that's the question. What is standing the test of time? Like, you know, and then how do you gauge that? So yeah, I don't know.
Sure, fair. I mean, let's just talk about it in like a traditional sense of the song gets really big, it stays really big, 20 years later, people are putting it in movies, stuff. Yeah. When
Right.
I hear
the industrialized version.
Exactly.
Of
Right.
Right.
When I hear timeless, that's what I kind of think of. I kind of think of that like of the traditional industrialized songs on the radio. 20 years later, people are still singing it. Like that's what I think of. But it's crazy to me. It's crazy to think that like someone could sit down with the intention of that happening. And I guess it does happen. I mean, I think when I started my first band, like my first punk rock band in like 8th grade,
What was that called?
Oh, it was called The Strife.
Ah!
When I started my first punk rock band, I genuinely thought that we were going to change the world, that people were all of a sudden going to see all this like socioeconomic injustice in the world, and that we were going to be the ones changing it. And like 20 years later, some revolution is going to happen, and our songs were going to be the theme of it. But I think once you're an actual musician, you kind of realize, no, I'll make this song, and really, I just hope that one person really likes it, and it like, puts dinner on the table tomorrow.
That's reasonable. Do you feel the same way about that?
It's like, for me, I like, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, I feel like all my expectations died with the last EP. Like, I'm not even trying to throw shade or anything. Like, it's just,
hey, cuz.
It's like, cause I was like, all right, we're gonna release some music, and our, friends and family are gonna listen to it, and maybe they'll share it with their friends and family, and then maybe it'll be picked up by a radio station, and then maybe we'll be picked up by a record label, and then they'll be pushing us to create more music, and then funding us and promoting our work, and we'll get to go to the Grammys, and then our music will be movies.
Okay.
Like that's kind of like what I had in mind, and now I'm just like, man, I just hope like we get like 1,000 streams on Spotify. Like, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Like I'll be happy. Like, I just want people enjoying it. But what I've come to realize is that I think what is probably an important factor, or what I'm going to argue is the most important factor of a song becoming a timeless hit, would be authenticity, right? The music being authentic to you, your experiences, your culture, your story, and in turn that story being relatable and easily accessible to others who identify with it, who see themselves in that story, who see themselves, and they can tell like this is you genuinely coming from somewhere deep within to create this song. And other people understand it, they vibe with it, and and it stands the test of time because so many generations of people, and with across different cultures and communities and age groups, understand the story and have lived that experience, and want to want to bask and share in that emotion, and I think with this album that we have coming out, we are a lot more authentic in our stories, in our experiences, and in our expectations of it. So, I'll never forget being down in Khalil's basement, like doing Trouble Over the Water, and then, doing, and like recording, like even like Lower Your Gaze, and like some of these other like, songs that we were doing, like I genuinely was vested in every single song. Like every single song, I was 100% vested into it, even if I wasn't in that song, because I felt like we aren't wasting any music. Like, this is music that's authentically ours, and we're putting 110% into it, and then putting it out there for the world to share and enjoy.
Now, not that I disagree with that, but counterpoint. Okay? Baby Shark. Baby Shark is going to be a classic 100 years from now, and there is no authenticity in that whatsoever.
Well, you think Baby Shark is going to be a classic 100 years
For
from now?
sure. Oh, yes.
It's like the song that doesn't end?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. There's no. I think. I mean, and obviously that's hyperbole, but you know.
That is definitely hyperbole.
I don't know. You can take like pop songs from the 70s, and half of them were about like heroin.
Right.
I don't think they were genuine either.
I'm dying. Honestly, that's my case. Your Honor, I concede. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but here's the thing. I think like markets can go into a big play too. You know, especially like considering Baby Shark. Like, I think if Leftist made a baby song that was high quality, like we would get billions of plays on YouTube too, and made it catchy. You know?
No doubt. Okay.
Okay, but would it kill your authenticity?
Yeah. See.
I mean,
yeah.
We're all gonna have babies one day. Opening the trash, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, being, you know, you already have Leanne. You know what I mean? Like, would you rather hear her? You know, would you rather her hear, you know, Shark or my other favorite, I'm a Gummy Bear? You know.
Oh, we don't know that one yet, so I'm gonna stay away from this.
Personal variety, I really like I'm a Gummy Bear. It's more on the dance techno side. I like it.
Hold on, I haven't heard this. I'm gonna listen to this.
Oh, don't do this.
The link. It's called "I'm a Gummy Bear," and it's like a gummy bear just twerking and dancing, and but it's great. It's great.
All right. Is this Ramadan appropriate? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm a gummy bear.
I'll put it on. Take your headphones up.
See if you can share screen.
Yeah. Add if you.
Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, counting, singing gummy bear.
Okay.
Gummy, 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 gummy bear. Gummy, 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 gummy bear.
I know he's saying, but it goes.
I don't think I can do much more of that.
Yeah, my little cousins loved it, yo. We were dancing to that growing up.
Yeah, but like I said in the last one, Leanne loves glory, so I think I'm good. Like,
yeah.
Like Leanne sings strength for the shaking.
Dang.
So now mind you, she don't say no words. Whatever she says is not what I wrote.
You got the remix.
Right. She got a whole different version, and I can't tell her otherwise. You know what I mean? But the bottom line is, so, will that kill authenticity? I think that you could definitely, branch off or something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
People write inauthentic songs all the time, deliberately.
Yeah, but I'm asking because E said that one of the keys to, timelessness was being genuine.
I think being genuine is a point against you. Nobody wants that.
Is that why people aren't listening to our music? Do we have to make songs about sharks and gummy bears and candy and all that stuff? I don't know. Maybe we need to just make trashy music. Like we'll
Yes, right.
Well, and by trashy, here's the thing. I don't mean trashy because art is subjective. We've had a conversation on that. But I mean we have to make music that just is easy to listen to lyrically.
I can talk about fat asses. I mean, I do like fat asses. So.
I'm gonna disagree with you, but
I do. It's not that I don't like them.
right. Yeah, I mean,
but maybe we will.
See, that would be genuine. I mean,
oh yeah, that would kill the whole thing then, huh? I gotta talk about coke and drugs.
Yeah,
like those.
see, this will get money.
Okay, but
No,
like,
but,
go ahead.
so I think maybe you're right. I think there are a lot of pop songs that are not like timeless songs that do have that element of being genuine, and there are a lot that are about complete nonsense. I'm not even sure it has anything. I think it's a lot of luck. It's a lot of the market. It's a lot of maybe the artist getting lucky in that, like, I don't know, maybe their hair was just looking really good that day, and they had a good photo shoot, and that put them in, I don't know.
Hey, look, Bobby Brown. One of the things that I learned about Bobby Brown in the Bobby Brown story was the Gumby cut that he had. He has like this weird haircut.
We should show a picture of that.
Yeah, go
that.
Find Bobby Brown Gumby cut. He's the first to do it, right? But it was by accident. The dude was talking too much. The barber was talking too much, right? And cut his hair slanted because he had a high top fade. And so
really?
He cut it slanted. And so he just had to go with it because he was in the middle of a video shoot.
Huh. Right. Yeah.
And so and Bobby got, classics. So now you got Bobby sitting there. And people started rocking it from then on. Right? Gumby cuts, all in the 80s and 90s is nothing but Gumby cuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And it's really because of that particular thing that you talk about. So yeah, so you're right. It could just be, the hairstyle did it for them. I don't know, whatever it is.
Whatever forces of nature are at play, I don't think they're predictable.
No.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
And I have a question. Like, to what extent does repetition contribute to timeliness?
Oh, that's a great, yeah.
Because the more you hear a song, right, and especially a song that you like, does that make you feel like, so many people are playing this, so many people are listening to it, I hear the song in a movie, I hear the song in this, like, it must be a good song, or it's really classic. Like, what are your thoughts on that? If any.
I think you may have actually maybe identified the one factor that is predictive of a song being timeless, just number of plays. Now, I mean, I think in and of itself is hard to predict, but no, I think you're right. You take something that's just played a lot and it gets you know what I mean? Like, it's not just gets popular. I think there's a difference between being popular and being timeless. And I think maybe there are like some subtle differences, right? Like some songs are popular in the moment and then they don't really ever like stay popular. But I think having a popular song that's played a lot is going to contribute to its ability to just be played often years from now.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
So so you feel like the songs that are being played now, that are played a lot, will have more airplay because so there's definitely a contributing factor to that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a
songs
tough one, man.
Songs that are played more frequently now, like nowadays, right? Songs that are played more frequently now have a better chance of standing the test of time than songs that are, even popular songs that are played less frequently from now. I think. I mean, it's not the only contributing factor.
So it could balance itself out. So for example, if your song is really good and it gets played less versus a song that's really bad and it gets played more, they might end up ended up in the same category.
For sure. Exactly. Right. Or two popular songs from the same artist. Okay? Case in point. Panini versus old
Are we gonna have Lil Nas X in every episode?
Yes, that's my goal. I wanted to see how many episodes it would take to be called out. It only took 2, so I got to move on to something else.
Let's stop real quick before we continue down that road. What were your original thoughts on it? I really like Old Town Road. I really like it. I couldn't stop listening to it.
So two popular songs from one popular artist.
I didn't need it.
One of them is going to be more popular than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Panini at all.
Yeah, me neither.
But Old Town Road was just mesmerizing to my ears.
Yeah, okay, it was weird. I liked it.
So is Old Town Road timeless? Do you think
we'll find out in like 10 years?
Do you think it has the potential?
But for me, I think it has the potential to be timeless because I think it was one of the original songs that really amplified the intersectionality of music and TikTok. Because, you know, you had the Old Town Road challenge where people were like dressing up or like dancing regularly, and then as soon as the Old Town Road chorus hit, they jumped up, and when the chorus hit, they landed, and then they were automatically cowboy outfits, like doing the
y'all actually know this one. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think because it was one of the first, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my experience, I wasn't too into TikTok or Musical.ly or anything like that it was before, right? Musical.ly was rebranded into TikTok. I didn't know much about it, and I didn't see it kind of like overflowing to different social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter, Snapchat and stuff until the TikTok Old Town Road dance or the Old Town Road challenge. And I feel like the song will be timeless because of its effect on that. And now look, you have people like Drake who release music just so it could be on TikTok.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
He really released that song just so he could find some way to get on TikTok.
Just so he could get it on TikTok. Literally, there's no other way to put it. And he'll probably deny that or whatever. But literally, when the song tells you to slide to the left or, you know, slide to the right and then put, you know, kick your leg back or whatnot, like it's made to be in TikTok. And just the other day, I was listening to, I went on Spotify to see, you know, what the current popular music today is, because I hadn't listened to like commercial music in a while. You know, and sometimes like, because I have my own niche of like what I listen to, and I listen to it repetitively. I went on the top 50 global playlist to see kind of like what was popular. And I kid you not, the first 35, 40 songs were all songs that were used in TikToks for different challenges. All 45, like 35 to 40, 45 songs in the top 50 global playlist was songs that were used in TikToks for challenges and things like that, and for different videos. And I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. And to me, like, I think, so just to summarize, like, I think Old Town Road will be considered a timeless classic because it was immediately pleasing to the ears. A lot of people liked it, and because it jump-started that like TikTok craze.
Yeah. I think you actually bring up an interesting point in that, like, that sometimes a song has to take on like another purpose. You know what I mean? And that also helps its ability to kind of just be like a timeless classic, especially if it impacts, like, say, we were just mentioning TikTok over here, something like about popular culture, but it could be, you know, like say the Macarena, right? Like everyone over the age of 26 knows what to do when that song comes on.
Shamelessly.
YMCA. That's another good example.
Yeah, it's funny because you say that, Mahir, because as you were saying that, I was just thinking about the song by Mariah Carey, "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you.
Now, is that a timeless song? Or is that a popular song that just comes on during Christmas season because it has to do with Christmas? You know?
It might be intertwined, right? And I'll tell you more songs like that. "Happy Birthday" by Stevie Wonder.
Happy birthday to
one of those songs, right? You're never gonna not play it. It's a smart so that we're clear. It's no different than Drake with TikTok if you think about it, right? But it's a little bit more shrouded, so you don't see it necessarily, right? Tony has anniversary, right? Every anniversary, every black person's anniversary, that song gets played. Like it just there's no way around it, right?
Anniversary, it's our anniversary. It's our anniversary, yeah, anniversary. It's our anniversary. It's our anniversary.
It's like Thriller getting played in Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's an expect. At this point, you expect it, right? So they kind of, I think some people do it deliberately. Because I think, in particular, with Christmas albums, they do that definitely deliberately.
Yeah,
right? Christmas albums sell big, and so they're like, all right, let's go ahead and make sure we have one of these under our belt, since you can sing your ass off, get your ass in the studio, and make you a Christmas album because it's gonna, they sell big. So there is some intersectionality with that concept. I think definitely. I've always had the theory that people make those songs specifically for that kind of, that kind of thing. It's gonna,
for sure.
It's like, this is an easy way to stand the test of time because it's linked to something that people are always gonna have and always be, is always gonna happen. You know what I mean?
It's linked to something and it's played consistently and repetitively. Those are basically like the two things that we're just discussing.
So will leftists ever make Christmas music? Or even...
No, that's a no.
I would
on my part.
be opposed to it.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
So that we're clear. I'll be fine with making Christmas movies. Right? Like, you know what I mean? If I can make Die Hard or Home Alone, oh great. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And if I get on the soundtrack, oh great, yeah, fine. But if you think I'm gonna do Sleigh Bells, I don't think that's gonna be me, my G. Although Outkast has a very good, what's the song? All the players came from far and wide. I forgot what the name of the song is.
All the players came from far and wide, wearing afros and braids, picking up gangsta ride. Now I'm here to tell you, there's a better day when the playboy is having all day, every day.
But whatever the name of the song is, I think it's Jingle something. I forgot, man. Whatever. It's the introduction of Outkast to the world, and it's on a Christmas album, right? It's a rap group on a Christmas album, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a unique way of doing a Christmas song, right? So, I mean, it is there, but I don't know.
I wonder if that restriction, not the restriction, but having to write a song within the confines of it being related to Christmas would unlock some sort of creativity in you.
Well, unlock?
Yeah, unlock. Like you'd have to rediscover how to write a Christmas song, or on your own discover how to write a Christmas song. I feel like it'd be a very artistic journey for you.
Yeah, for us, hell yeah.
No. I'm not contributing to that. That'll be all of you.
Nah, my G. No. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be really unique about it. Like I said, the Outkast version is really unique in the way they attack, the song. It isn't regular, but you feel the Christmas spirit of it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of like, look, it's kind of like Native Dean when Ramadan come.
I was gonna say, I think maybe the market is still open for Ramadan. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Make a Ramadan jingle.
Ramadan is here. Ramadan is here. Ramadan is here. Ramadan is here.
No, I'm good.
We're getting back into the Nasheed conversation.
So that's a question. That's another question. Then is that a business thing then, or is that an artist thing?
What do you mean?
I
Like,
think it's a business thing. Yeah.
yeah, like, is it a business move or is it an artist thing? Like, for me, I would be able to write a Christmas song if it hit me to write a Christmas song. All
Okay.
right. But if it don't hit me, it ain't coming.
Yeah. I see.
All right.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I think you really had to be hella deliberate to be like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of, I'm writing this particular song for this particular thing.
All right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, not that we don't do that to a degree, so we can't act like we're like above that.
No.
We do that to some degree.
For
you
sure.
know.
And I don't think, audience, I don't necessarily think they care. Like, oh, does this guy genuinely think Christmas is the greatest holiday in the world? Maybe not, but I don't care. You can be transparent about it. That's fine.
Right? Can the same thing be said about love?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
same thing can be said about love. It's a lot of people out here writing love songs.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a little too many at this point.
Right.
Okay, so do we have any songs that you guys see the potential of being timeless?
I think a recent one. Oh, of ours. Sorry.
I mean, that would constitute we. Like, I don't know what other we.
You meant like, do we have a song in mind that constitutes timeless? And I was like, I wasn't thinking of ours necessarily, but ours.
Man.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, so go ahead, E.
I was just
That'd be
saying, my
interesting, yeah.
personal experience is this is one song that really made me fall in love with Leftist was Lower Your Gaze. And I know we don't have it out fully yet, but like there's something just about that song that whenever it comes on, there's something within me that just kind of like is like all right, let's go. You know what I mean? And like I love that feeling, and I think that feeling is really inspiring because it can be manifested and translated into anything. Whether you're about to get a workout, whether you're beefing yourself up to go talk to your boss, or you know what I mean, or like you just trying to get in a more motivated state. I think that song is like quintessential Leftist. So that's why I really like that one, and I think that one has the ability to be a timeless one because even though we've created other music, there's no song that I can really like. And I love our songs, but I wouldn't want Lower Your Gaze facing off against any other song because I know what kind of power Lower Your Gaze has.
We talked about, I think there are two conditions that are necessary but not sufficient to kind of create a timelessness, to create like a timeless song, right? Like repetitive plays and then maybe like some impact on something in pop culture or otherwise. Those are both necessary and not sufficient because I think there are a lot of like other things that we just can't see.
Right.
I'm not sure any of our songs have checked those boxes just yet.
Okay.
You know, like we don't have something that just like played repetitively all the time. As far as we know.
I mean, put it this again. Yeah. I'm potentially.
No, right, of course. And I mean, I think as of now, you can only base that off of like the predictors that we've identified so far.
Yeah.
Now, if you're asking me whether or not a song has the potential to become a popular song in this day and age, then yeah, then I can identify things about the band, or I can identify other predictors that can make a song popular for its given time, right? But whether or not it's going to be played like 10, 15 years from now, I don't know if there's a way to predict that. And I don't know if I can identify a song that would be able to fit like that description.
What do you think, Dean?
So I write with the mindset of releasing time constraints on songs a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
With the idea of making sure, like I heard someone say that Dr. Dre, for example, tries not to put, I think it's the year in his songs to keep,
Current.
to keep it from becoming stale.
Okay.
Right. I write a lot of times with those kind of concepts in mind. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I think so. I think we have a couple actually that could impact and could be played in another 15 years. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that it will.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think we have songs that make statements that that will never go away. How about I say that? Right? I think we have certain songs that make certain statements that will likely be around in another 15 years, or seem like they're going to be around in another 15 years.
I mean,
if I'm talking about just the statements, not the repetitiveness of it, like, because we, I don't know if we can control that at all, the repetitive play, but the statement part of it, or connecting to something, I think we have songs that will be connecting to things for the next, however long you want to call it.
So, there can be popular songs and like timeless songs that make reference, or maybe are even about a certain period in time or a place.
Correct.
Maybe it doesn't even have to be lyrically timeless. Do you know what I mean? To kind of like contribute to that. In fact, I'm trying to like think of or like look for an example of a song that's maybe even about like a certain date, time, year, whatever.
1999, Prince.
There you go. So you know what I mean?
Right. 100%. 100%.
So I don't even necessarily know if that's a contributing factor.
I think that all of them are contributing factors, but you can't anchor them down. You can't anchor timelessness down with one.
Yeah.
Factor,
for sure. Right.
I think that sometimes it works that way for one thing, but it may not work that way for another thing, or sometimes it works that way for this particular thing, and the other one it doesn't, it doesn't connect with that way. So that leads me to my next question. Can you have a timeless song that you don't want to be timeless and that you hate?
Baby Shark.
No. I mean, like, you as the artist, my guy.
As the artist?
Yeah.
I don't know how much Rick Astley loves Never Gonna Give You Up.
Right.
So,
never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
Because I know he's like, he's standing there and he's standing there in front of the microphone. He's just like, never gonna give you.
He wants to give that song up so bad.
He's dying to get rid of that song, bro. I promise you, he has to be. It has to be. It has to be. That makes you a terrible human being for saying that, Mahir.
I know.
Now we know what you think of Never Gonna Give You Up, bro.
No, I think it's a great song.
Yeah, but you could have songs that make you feel like, I don't know, weighted.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Okay.
I feel like As Long As the Police Don't Get Me is that song for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah.
Right? I feel like it's a song that could possibly be around forever. And I hate that it could be around forever.
Yes, definitely. the worst part is, I think it has like a relevance and like a very tangible relevance. And I think if I had to pick, I mean, that song has the potential to hit like one of those check boxes. You know what I mean? Like the impact outside of like just music within pop culture, or modern day culture, or whatever you want to call it right now. That hits that checkbox. All the songs that the song is a good song, but I think unfortunately it's a very relevant song, and relevance plays a role. And it also, to a certain extent, does not necessarily make reference to a time period, but I mean you can definitely see an era in which it's very relevant.
Right. I mean, it comes from a particular frame of reference.
Yeah.
That being what would be considered police brutality,
right?
Slash the history of the United States,
exactly.
as seeing human beings as property as opposed to human.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting. I took to that song knowing that, and I wrote it in a way, everybody writes these songs, rappers tend to be the ones who write these songs, but they usually write them in a sense to where it's like, it's just reporting the news essentially, right? It's just kind of like, this is what happened.
Exactly,
this is the situation that happened, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take to it like that. And so I chose to take to it from a place of like, of my own freedom, right? And reclaiming that in the process of it. Because I didn't want to have to sing a song that could possibly be timeless, that I was just reporting what happened over and over and over and over again.
I see.
Right? As opposed to me singing a song that says, at the end of the day, this is, I'm free, and no one gets to decide, freedom for me, I thought that was very important. But again, it's still one of those things that it's like, you wish you didn't have to sing this shit.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you wish you didn't have to sing it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think sometimes when, say, like popular artists have to say, maybe sing about something that's traumatic for them. A lot of songs are based on like their own like drug use, and things like that. Could you imagine like having to like being like sober for like decades long, and then still having to like sing about your
sing Under the Bridge,
right?
Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Like, all these years you've been, it reminds me of, and this is to a lesser extent, but when Nas and Jay-Z had the beef that they had, right?
Yeah.
That's 20 years ago, right? People are still expecting Nas to sing Ether, right? Nas is like, I don't want to perform Ether.
Yeah.
Like, that's my brother now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're good. Like, I don't want to perform Ether. But people are expecting him to perform the song. That is a scathing song. It's It is not, it is not a good, a friendly song at all. And people are still expecting him to, to be on that tip.
Yes.
It's always interesting.
But see, that's actually, an interesting point, because I think that these songs that hit on a certain moment, I can name more songs that hit on a certain moment that are like timeless. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and it doesn't even necessarily have to be like just one certain moment in time, but say like Christmas, it's hitting on a certain moment in time,
Right.
a repetitive moment in time, but it's something that like people are actually able to, it's so much more relatable
Right.
when you're making it about like a particular a particular point in time, or something that's very specific, that's tangible.
Right. So when you dial it down to like a specific thing,
Yeah,
you think it becomes more time. It
I
has a
think
potential
so.
to become more
I mean,
time.
then I'm also thinking of like Stairway to Heaven, and nobody even knows what that is.
No one knows what that shit is.
Right. So
Stuff. Why don't I keep my stuff on? Oh yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
it's such a hard topic to debate, because for every point you make, you can make a counterpoint.
Correct. Funny story about As Long as the Police Don't Get Me. I don't know if y'all know the story. E, do you remember the guy who tried to kick us off the stage performing As Long as the Police Don't Get Me?
What?
Yeah, we were in Jersey, right? This is when you did the drums, right, for that show.
I remember that.
Yeah, this dude.
The show in Jersey, yeah, the one where Brian was able to make it.
And this dude came up to me afterwards. Well, he didn't try to kick us off stage. He tried to not get us paid or whatever, right? Some small time dude. Like, it was like, bro, like, out of here, right? But he comes up and he's like Egyptian or something like that, right? He's not even. He ain't black or white.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And he's just like, what did you say? You said something about the police, right? He steps to me, right? So I'm like, first of all, I'm like, yo, it's at least 4 of us here, bro. Like, you're like, so that we're clear, right? You're gonna get, if you decide to,
the odds are not in your favor.
Exactly. You put it mildly. And then on top of it, I'm from Jersey, right? You don't want that problem, right? If I have to call somebody to make something that, like it's nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. So he's talking or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure you guys don't get paid or something to that effect, bro. And I was just like, man, like, keep going. And it's so interesting because every time we perform it in front of police, there's never an issue.
Yeah.
Right? It's never an issue. Right? But you get guys like that all the time who are just like, like they get like, start. That's what he was like. He was like, my cousin is a police officer. I was like, well, so the hell what? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, and I've been in this country longer than you have. Like, what's what are we balancing here? What's the
we're trying to compare over here?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But we always get that from people. And so does the word I'm looking for, the animosity toward a song, could that lead to timelessness too?
Yes. I mean, say particularly for this song, right? Like, you have this, I don't think this just resonates with people who it can resonate with people who have family members or who are in the police, right? Or not,
Right. Which is an interesting thing because it's not about the police.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. But.
It's not. It's like what's the thing? I'm talking about you, not to you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not about the police. It's really about me and my response to a system, right? Or us and our response to a system. It's not about the police, right? It doesn't say anything. Right,
not
like,
particularly.
You're terribly this. No, it's just explaining that this is how I see what's going on. Yeah, this is how I see this particular system. It just happens to have the word police in it a lot.
Yeah.
E, do you remember the first time we performed it in front of like police officers? I was nervous as hell.
I was like, you sure you want to do this?
I know, right?
I was like, you haven't even tested this to a sample crowd?
I was like, yeah, bro, this is, we're going to find out. We're going to find out today.
It goes back to being easy listeners. People that are like easy listeners, they're just going to, oh, that'll be good as long as the police don't get me. Wow, you must hate police. this, and that. But it's just like, no, like, listen further, right? Listen to the
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Man, like, we're not NWA. We're not saying F the police. You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying these things. We're talking about a system at hand, and the fact that we say we'll be good as the police don't get me, like, means that we won't fall into the trap. Like, we won't fall into the jaws of the system as long as we're not taken from it like that.
It really is about your soul and your humanness, right? And the willingness to say nobody gets to dictate my humanness except for me, right? I've heard enough songs tell me, all I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is be free. I'm like, I don't have no chains on me. Why would I sing that? Why would I say that? I don't have any chains on me. And no one can tell me that I have chains on me. And no one can tell me that I deserve to live or die based on their rules. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
That's just not how life works. I don't care what your rules state and what your history states and your laziness states, or your complacency states, right? It doesn't work like that. You don't get to decide that for me, and my willingness to say that is my willingness to fight against that idea.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That you get to take that from me. No one gets to take that from me. Even in my death, you don't get to take that from me. The Most High decided the time I'm gonna die, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's through you,
right.
It's not because of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You're just kind of like a part of that process.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. And that would hopefully then, because that's the question that I think that hasn't been addressed with a lot of these with this particular issue is is how do we get to the point that where we say you don't have the right to do this in one way or the other, right? You don't have the right to even decide what justice is. Like, real talk. You don't. And I think that, so I was like, okay, let me go there instead of going to the, please give me my rights. Please give me my, I'm like, bro, it wasn't yours to give me anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Bottom line, like, it wasn't your life to give me anyway. Like, it's not yours. You don't own me. And so, that's I mean, that's a little bit off the topic, but it's essentially what it was, but I don't know, I could end up hating that song. I could see myself not liking that song.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't already hate it.
I mean, I love it because lyrically it is strong as hell. I think I wrapped it up very tightly. That's what I thought. That's what I feel about it.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I told exactly what I needed to tell, the way I needed to tell it. So it reminds me of, if I could compare it to any other leftist song, it reminds me of Trouble Over the Water. Just in the way it just, for me, it just glided through kind of storytelling in it. So I don't Trouble Over the Water might be another timeless one.
Yeah.
If we could ever get it fully right.
That would, if that ever comes out of the studio.
Trouble over the water, trouble over the water. Trouble over the water, trouble over the water. There's trouble over the water, trouble over the water. There's trouble over the water.
If that ever gets into the studio.
All right. I mean,
the version or the Total Park version?
We're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do another version.
Redo that. Yeah.
We're gonna have to do the whole EP over.
I agree with that.
And that's not the crack on like what Khalil did, because I believe.
No. Of course.
I really do like that album. I actually do. I really do like that EP.
Yeah, and I mean, you could definitely hear his influence in there a lot, which I love. I think it sounds brilliant, but I think it would be nice to kind of like redo it with like maybe more of a leftist take on it.
Right.
Leftist authenticity.
What?
Yeah.
What?
All right, you said, that police was perfectly wrapped, and I was like, yeah, it's perfectly wrapped like a burrito. Then I got hungry, and
You fasting?
Then you got hungry?
oh yeah, and then you had to talk about trouble over water. I was like, yeah, water would go good with the burrito. And then my mind just went like to food.
All right, and I think that's the end of that particular episode. Thank you all for listening, and we're out.
Yeah, right. This is what we do now.